You can hear me?
Yeah, that is how we shall start this broadcast. Hey, can you? Way to go, Nixon. We're on the air for 3 seconds, and you done botched us all. All five people that watch this show will not forgive us. What's going on, you guys? It's Mouth of the Mark. As usual, what a night it has been. WrestleMania weekend coming to a close. And as Daniel and I are here, we've got two guests tonight. We've got Dalton Bartlett and we've got Kenneth Nixon. We've got a photographer and a singer. Man, we are just musically rich. We are musically rich. We are just podcasting about the wrong things. Like, why are we doing wrestling? We should be doing music stuff.
No.
Well, let's go down the line. Let's see how everybody is doing. Dalton, welcome first time on. I know Nixon's been on before, but how you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm all right. I just watched 7 hours of the WrestleMania content. I'm kind of disappointed. Some high spots, but I wasn't really happy with a lot of the finishes of the matches. But it could have been worse, in my opinion.
Yeah, it definitely could have been worse. Nixon, welcome back, bro. Always fun to have you on the show. What'd you think overall of the cards?
It definitely couldn't have been better because this is WWE. No, I mean, we'll get pretty extensively into it. I know there are some things that I know I'm in the minority of actually thoroughly enjoying for the most part, but the card took a sharp turn for me at one point in the show and never recovered from there. But we'll get to that.
We'll get deep. We're gonna dig deep into the show. Daniel, hey, welcome back, buddy. It's a long time no see. It's like we haven't done this in forever. Like 2 days.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I mean, I was kind of underwhelmed by the finishes. I thought the matches themselves. To me, this WrestleMania is going to prove that like it really is creative because the talent was really good tonight. The talent was really, really good, but the booking decisions behind the talent on almost every single match was bad. I mean, and that's why, to me, if you do take this like as a single unit in a vacuum and you watch it, you're like, what? I mean, even if you watch it independently, outside of like watching these storylines, you kind of be like, what? Like how? What? Like the matches were cool, but the finishes, I just don't think they're gonna hold up with what they're gonna do in the future or what they've done leading up to this. It just, to me, the finishes and the booking was really bad, but the talent was really good. The matches, the actual wrestling was really good tonight.
I don't think there's many clean finishes on one show. Like, I don't know if you guys got that too, but I'm pretty sure every match kind of ended pretty clean, huh?
Yeah,
the women's triple threat was pretty dirty.
But it was a flare finish for sure.
It was a triple threat too. So I mean, it's kind of hard to like. I don't know. Now that I've mulled it over a little bit, it's kind of like, I mean, what else do you do other than get her interference? Do you have her just like knocked out on the side and like not involved at all? I mean,
I would have preferred a clean finish there, I guess. I guess if Charlotte's winning, you might as well have her win heel. But
yeah,
I guess I just wanted Sasha to win. So
yeah.
Well, I think that's all of us. I think we all really wanted Mania to be Sasha's thing. But we'll get to that one. But dig out our charts and our graphs of how we're going to dissect this show and prove how it's worse than WrestleMania 11. We'll start with the pre-show. First match of the night was Kalisto versus Ryback, which Kalisto retained his United States Championship. I think a lot of us thought that they were just going to push a heel Ryback on us here. I'm glad that Kalisto won because, I'm all for, Rey Mysterio Jr. So Dalton, what'd you think of Kalisto versus Ryback?
I watched the match, like, sorta. It was like that one diagram, like the game you guys filled out, the sheet, and there was a checkbox that said, "Does anyone care?" And I'm like, "No, not really. I don't really care." It was a cool little finish, I guess, where he pulled the turnbuckle off and he drop toe hold right back into it and hit his finisher. I I didn't really want Ryback to go over there. I feel like Kalisto has more to do, and especially when they're going the way with the Cruiserweight series in a few months. I feel like Kalisto should have held onto the belt there.
You know, I think that if with Cruiserweight, it would have given more of a reason for Ryback to win, because then Kalisto could have done the Cruiserweight tournament. But I mean, I'm totally cool with Kalisto going over. Think, bro.
Yeah.
Or are you starting to lag?
Who, me?
Would you yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Nixon.
Well,
What did you
first
think
off,
about
it's
throwing Ryback?
the WWE, so I mean that U.S. title could quickly be renamed the Global Cruiserweight Championship before the next thing we know. Um, I tuned in like halfway through the match. I thought the vertical suplex from the corner, holding Kalisto up in the air for longer than the British Bulldog ever did, I feel like was pretty damn impressive. I know Schaefer hates Ryback, and I'm not saying the dude is the greatest. He's definitely, not one of my favorite people that comes on the TV, but the dude is improving, man. Like every time, every match, he's throwing something new in his move set. It's like he's doing everything he can to win smarks over. It seems like it's like he's not even trying to go out there and be like a Reigns, a guy that's just taking his push that the company's giving him. That dude's like really trying to win people like us over. I feel like, and I mean, there's a lot worse. So I was genuinely surprised that he didn't get the title there. I'm okay with him not getting the title there. I hope that doesn't mean that he gets thrusted into the main event scene soon, because I would much rather him be a mid-card champion right now and make the U.S. title scene interesting. That said, I'm a big Kalisto fan. What are they going to do from here, though, with him? Unless it's, just continue this with Ryback. The match I thought was a good match. From what, like Dalton said, it was one of those where I had just gotten home from being out all day, and it was kind of on, and like I would watch the high spots and stuff with my son. So he's a big Buka, as he says, Buka, Buka. I'm like, dude, they're saying Lucha. It's not Buka. He like fights with me about this. But so yeah, like he was all into that match, so it was really cool to experience that with because he's a huge fan of anybody that wears a mask. But yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see what's next.
Well, if he's a fan with people with masks, just put him on the Lucha Underground. That's all you gotta do.
Oh, dude, I wish we had that. I wish I had the channel to watch that every week and not on an internet stream. He's not okay with watching anything on a computer unless it's like a Spider-Man YouTube video.
There are worse things to be watching on YouTube, I assure you. Daniel, what did you think about Kalisto and Ryback, man?
I actually thought it was better than I expected it to be. I kind of agree. I felt like Ryback had. I think I may have texted you this, or I texted somebody this, because I felt like he had a decent match. So for Ryback, it was like a WrestleMania quality match. But I mean, honestly, it really wasn't a bad match. I mean, this could have been on the main card. I mean, compared to some of the stuff that we saw. I mean, it really wasn't a bad match. He held his own. There were no botched spots. I'm actually glad he didn't win, obviously, because I hate Ryback on the inside. But I mean, at the end of the match, I actually did care, and I was glad that I watched it. You know what I mean? So like, as far as our little chart goes, like, I was actually glad that I watched the match, because I felt like it was pretty good.
Well, this next match is on the chart of Do You Care? I definitely checked. I feel like most of us did. Team Total Divas beating Team Bad and Blonde. I mean, did anybody care about this at all? Let's just get it here. Nixon, did you care?
Oh, man, that sounds terrible. But I mean, there are definitely participants in the match that I cared about. But no.
Daniel, did you care?
No, not at all. I mean, and that's not to be like sexist, because I thought the other women's match was match of the night, but
it's not sexist at all, because there's a match that we're about to talk about that I will say the exact same thing to.
Yeah.
Right. Did you care about this 5?
What's that?
Did you care about this 5-on-5 women's match?
No, Oh, sorry, I already answered that.
Oh no, I mean the match itself, no, not really. Like Nixon said, there's a couple participants that were I wish had higher spot on the bill, but you know, I feel like
Yeah,
uh, with
absolutely.
with with the Divas title now that I feel like they should rebrand it and give the Divas division like a lower title, just because I don't know. There's so much competition in that division now. If they call someone back up like Bailey, or not back up, but like if they keep Emma up, and then you got Paige, and then you call Bailey up. There's so many people. There's only one belt. They're gonna need a second one, in my opinion.
Brand split though. Keep the. They never said they were getting rid of the Divas title. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, it's happening. It's gonna happen.
Did they use the
Well,
word retire tonight when Charlotte came out?
No,
No.
never. Not one time did they
Oh,
talk about the Divas title being retired. Not one time.
well, even so, I would like it to not be called the Divas title, but I'll
I
take
mean,
it
I
as
agree with that for sure. Yeah.
it
but it's kind of hard to not butterfly belt when it's a butterfly and it's got the word diva across it.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
I mean, like you could have a champion of women on the show, Total Divas. I don't know how you would even begin to do something like that. But I mean, the match itself, I agree with you guys. Like the match itself is what I mean. Like we don't care about like Paige, Natalia, Emma. I mean, even to Naomi, and even a potential to see what Lana can do. I mean, there's people in that match that we really want to care about. It's just hard with that match. You know what I mean?
It was just
So
a match specifically put together to be on the pre-show.
Yeah, I agree.
I'll give Bree
Hey,
props on that submission though. It was really
That
clean.
was a very nice spot.
Yeah.
yeah, that
Her
stuff spot
last
was done.
match, and she finally decides to do something well.
It is wild that they didn't really say that this would be her last Mania. I mean, they obviously made that pretty clear, I thought.
Yeah, I think Daniel implied it. He posted something like right after on Instagram. He said, "Let's start that baby making" or something like that, and I was like, "Oh, okay. I guess that kind of confirms it."
Well, even I thought just bringing Nikki out kind of confirmed that, but and the way
Yeah.
Paige
Yeah, they're
Paige
done. I think they're both done. I think that's the last we ever see of the
You
Bellas
think
as
they're
far
both
as like
done?
in the ring.
Oh.
Paige immediately like started like you could tell she like was that was a
Emotional.
real moment where as
Yeah.
soon as they announced the winner, she started hugging Brie and like they picked her up. So yeah, it was just to me it was kind of weird that they didn't say like this is Brie's last Mania.
Maybe
Why not
tomorrow.
mention it?
Well, it's because in wrestling you never say never. So they
True.
don't,
It's true.
you
I
know,
mean, hell, we've seen that once with them already.
not only them, but Flair. Flair's the epitome of never say never. You
It's
know.
true.
So, but on to the next match that again, no one really care. I mean, like I want to care, but
There was no build up.
I don't know, man. I
Zero
don't know
build
what.
up for this match. And it should have been a main card, like huge
You
match.
know,
It should have been with the people in it.
yeah, I mean the Dudleys and the Usos. The Dudleys, the name, like I mean, the Dudleys speak for themselves, but the Usos have a really good run in WWE, and for these four guys to be on the pre-card in a match that had virtually zero build, other than the Dudleys screaming that they're never going to use him, and Bubba Ray talking mad trash every time he's in the ring. I mean, I don't know, man. Like I'm glad the Usos went over because I'm all for baby faces winning at Mania, but like I don't know, man. It's just this was a match that I just really didn't care about. Nixon, what'd you think, man?
I mean, this is the one I was referring to when I said that it definitely wasn't sexist that we said that because I could not give two shits, less about this match either. It is a shame because Usos are a good tag team, and for seemingly during a period when they're trying to start putting, they've been saying that for years, I guess, but putting more focus on the tag team division, and they've got the talent there. They're kind of letting those dudes just, no one cares about them anymore, really, because they're in all these matches that no one cares about, and because you're seeing,
They're not booked well.
yeah, I mean, they listen to those boos. It was obvious to any wrestling fan that when they knocked the Dudleys down during that table spot, that they were still going to use those tables. But everyone started booing them for doing that, and it's like, they're still going to use the tables here, dudes. But it's that's kind of just that's them right now. They just, and I don't think it's going to change until we finally get the inevitable one of them turns and the other one, and we get the singles feud out of them, and then 5 years from now, one of them's the WWE champion, and we're like, dude, I never saw that shit coming. But I mean, other than that, this match sucks, and it also sucks because, Bully obviously in the last 5 years has done the best work of his career, and he came to really just be an enhancement talent in the E, and an enhancement that doesn't enhance the other guy at that. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's not helping anyone.
Yeah. I disagree because I think I think they helped enhance the New Day. It's just they did nothing for the Usos. Like I think they helped the New Day.
Yeah,
I think the New Day.
I
think the New Day helped themselves.
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, I agree, but it takes 2 to tango, or in this case,
Yeah.
it takes 5 to tango. But whatever.
They were a worthy opponent, like Scott Steiner was a worthy opponent for Triple H in 2005, though. I mean, you understand what I'm saying? Like they were good for a 1 month little turn to help put over the New Day at the time.
Exactly.
Granted, the New Day was helping themselves. I mean, it was them putting them over. It could have been many other people didn't have to be the Dudleys, but the Dudleys at the time did fill that role well. I would say that.
Yeah. I'm just saying that when they first came back on that Raw and that Pyro hit, we all expected much bigger things with them.
Absolutely, yeah.
Than what we've gotten. And I think that the role that they did fill in that feud, any tag team that was a believable tag team could have filled that role because, like Dalton said, I mean, the New Day is going to go over no matter who they're up against.
But with the Usos being injured at the particular time, the Dudleys were the credible tag team. I mean, like, they had buried the Ascension so far, they still can't dig those son of a bitches out.
Ascension. I hear you there.
Dalton, what'd you think about this tag match, bro?
There's just, there wasn't really anything special about it. You knew the whole time someone was getting put through the table. I thought it was kind of weird that they ended on a super kick. I don't know if I don't really pay attention to the Usos that much when they're on TV, but they didn't even end it with the splash like I thought was their finisher. They just did a super kick finish. I think the most interesting part to me was when one of the Usos put Devon on the table and he didn't set it up all the way, so I thought it was getting ready to just like kind of fold in half and like slide off and just fall down when he was getting up on the turnbuckle. That would have been entertaining more so than the match, I think.
Wait, what did you say?
That when he set the table up, one of the legs was like kind of like halfway like this, and it was getting ready to just kind of slide down and just kind of lay down with Devon on it. I thought that would have been hilarious.
That would have been really funny. I agree.
You wanted to see, like, to get the botch of the night out of the way in the match that no one cared about.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if it's on a pre-show, if someone botches on the pre-show, I don't know if it actually happens. And it would have been better because even Eva didn't botch anything tonight. So,
dude, right?
By the way, side note, did you guys all watch this is kind of relevant because we're talking about the Dudleys. Did you guys all watch the 24 Daniel Bryan special?
I didn't.
I haven't watched it yet.
I have not yet.
Oh, damn, really? I'm the only one that has. And I thought I was the only one that hadn't watched it. Like, I watched it the Friday night, like 1 o'clock in the morning. I was in bed. I was like, oh, forgot about that. Well, they go through, like, Brian's day that day, and when he gets to the arena, it's like Bubba, he says hey to Bubba, and it's like, when you watch it, you'll think it's weird, too, now that I've pointed out, but it's like Bubba had no clue at that point that Daniel Bryan was announcing his retirement. And it's like, why did you guys... It just totally comes across as that. So, yeah, I mean, totally off point other than the fact that we're talking about the Dudleys, but just pay attention to that when you guys watch it. That whole thing's a fucking tearjerker.
Yeah, but I feel like if you're working 300 dates a year and you're in the E, like, dude, you literally don't think about anything else other than the next city you're going to.
No, I mean, they for sure that day showed like when Jericho arrived there and you could tell he didn't know about it because WWE like went up to him as soon as he got there and interviewed him. So I mean,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, but it's just still weird to put that in the 24 special. Yeah. The whole special is about his last day, and it's like it just seems like it shows this obvious interaction with somebody. It's just like, hey man, how you feeling? Well, what do you mean? How's he feeling? He's about to go announce he's retiring from the WWE. How do you think he's feeling right now?
Brutal.
Like shit.
Brutal.
Daniel, what do you think, man, about this tag match?
I mean, I thought it was a good match. I thought that the actual exchange, like I said, the wrestling was good. I mean, it's just that I just don't. I mean, it's like it just blows my mind that you have the Usos that the E has been behind for like 2 years now, and then you bring the Dudleys back, like we all said, like we expected so much from them since their like return, and it's like if you would have told me 4 months ago that this was going to be on the pre-show, I'd be like, oh, why is this not like semi-main event or like some big thing? Like if you'd have told me this right after like the Dudleys came back, I would have been so pissed. But now it's like I don't even care about the match because they've written both these teams so badly that like, I mean, I don't know.
It was bad.
Yeah.
It was bad booking, not bad work, just bad booking.
Exactly. That's exactly how I felt about the match.
But now we're going into like my shock of the night. Zack Ryder just won a ladder match for the Intercontinental title.
Wow.
Just
Is it 2011?
Yeah. Props to the E for being 5 years too late. Props. Mad
Yeah,
props.
really.
Look, what it is Cena's injured, so Cena couldn't bury him this time. So.
Oh, I got it. Yeah, that makes sense.
I just think it's hilarious
So-
because, like, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, maybe even this past Raw, I was like, it sucks that a lot of these people are on the card just because of the injuries. And one of those people I was talking about was Zack Ryder, and he comes up and wins the Intercontinental title, and it was the last thing I saw happening, and
I agree. It was totally the last person I expected to win. I thought for sure with Zayn to Nakamura, I thought for sure Zayn was walking out with the strap.
Same.
Dalton. I mean, I know it's a shock for everybody, but Dalton, did you enjoy the match? I mean, it was pretty fast from where I was.
I'm lagging just a little bit, but yeah, I enjoyed the match. I was on Twitter scrolling through a little bit when it was on, and you caught it like a spot fest a little bit, and it was funny because like the Young Bucks were talking about how they did that Sin Cara spot where he tipped the ladder, jumped on the rope, and then front flipped off of it. The Young Bucks were talking about how they did that first and stuff. I thought it was hilarious. For a lot, it was weird because it felt like Sin Cara wasn't even in the match a lot of the time. He just did the two main spots. The second one where he went through Goldust on the ladder.
Stardust, yeah.
Did you just say gold
Oh,
dust?
yeah, I said Goldust. I'm sorry. Oh, man.
I'm so glad only 5 people watched this. So we won't hit Botchamania.
Right. I'm trying to think of some of the other stuff that really surprised me in that match. Well, besides Zack winning. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was just a good match. It's like throwback to when they had Money in the Bank opening the show. I mean, it's a good show opener for sure. It gets the crowd hot. If it's like an annual thing they're doing now, I think it's kind of dumb. I feel like they should just move the Money in the Bank back to the back to the pay-per-view.
I think that's the ultimate plan. I think this is the last year they're doing Money in the Bank's pay-per-view.
Like, there's no point to put the title on the line. You could just move Money in the Bank back, and
Agree.
But,
yeah.
Yeah, that's about all I have for the match, really.
Nixon, how about you, brother?
I mean, I was entertained throughout the entire match. I thought that all the spots were dope as hell. All the big spots, at least. I thought the Stardust spot was really awesome. I legit thought that he was dead there for a second. But speaking of legit thinking someone was dead, holy shit, Kevin Owens, man. When he took that suplex from Zayn.
Oh, right.
Dude, I was like, man, he's hurt. He's hurt for sure. And dude, even after Ryder wins, he's still just in this. He did not move from that. No one sells like that. That commitment from that was beautiful. He didn't move the entire like 10 minutes from like the same like he's dead position. So yeah, I mean, I also expected Zayn Malik from One Direction to win this match as well. So I was surprised when he wasn't even involved. That surprised me. I mean, none of us saw it. I mean, Vince didn't fucking see Zack Ryder winning this 2 weeks ago. This was the classic WWE booking on the fly. It would be awesome if it leads to something. Zack Ryder's winning at Life right now, IC title, and Emma. I don't know like what power position uh, Emma has, but I mean it's definitely helped him out quickly. That's the last guy I wanted involved in this match, and then when he won, I was all for it. A+ for me. That was definitely a moment that I got just completely caught up in being a wrestling fan. I was like, holy shit, man, this guy's earned this. It's awesome to see him finally get it. I just hope it doesn't. Where do they go? You know, that's what I always ask.
I feel like he probably just drops it tomorrow.
You can't, but it can't be Owens. I mean, I feel like Owens and Zayn are immediately next.
Maybe Corbin.
No, I don't that either. If you guys think 2 weeks ago he beat Jericho, so I'm thinking maybe since Jericho beat Styles, we're gonna get Ryder and Jericho.
I don't know though, because the next pay-per-view is Payback. Maybe they're doing Jericho Styles 5, because it's 2-2, isn't it?
No, well, since it's 2 about that as well.
It'll be 2-2 after tomorrow night, probably.
They may, if they don't do it tomorrow, like if we don't get like the WrestleMania rematch on Raw, then it'll be at Payback. But I don't know. I think Ryder actually do some stuff with the IC title, or he'll forever be like the Cody Rhodes was, where like he's got some talent and he could elevate it, but the booking just doesn't let him. Daniel, what'd you think overall of the ladder match, bud?
I mean, the match was great. Again, like the finish was cool. To see Zack Ryder winning the IC title, that was cool. But I agree with everyone here. Like we all love wrestling so much that it's like we can't help but think about future booking. So it's like immediately it's like, yes, as a wrestling fan it was great, but then as a mark, I was like, oh fuck, where are they gonna go with this? Like they're just gonna drill him into the ground, and that's only gonna make the title worse. And like my brain just starts running, and I'm like, fuck, it's gonna take like 6 months. By the time SummerSlam gets here, the IC title is gonna be shit, and it's gonna be on the pre-show, and I'm just I'm running in my head like constantly, and it sucks. But for tonight, it was awesome to see Ryder win. Where they go from here, we'll just see. But tonight it was cool.
I think that the disappointing thing about that, guys, is like Zack Ryder's whole gimmick is that Zack Ryder is a gimmick. I feel like, it's not like he's a character where they all of a sudden can take that and make him some credible threat to me. I mean, maybe that's just me wanting something more from him, kind of the same way I want that from Cody at this point. But I mean, it definitely feels like he's just a guy that they have to hold that title while they make the Owens Zayn feud more important than the IC title, which I'm not one of those guys that's like, I understand the title doesn't have to be in that feud for that feud to be important, but at least put the title on someone that you have big plans for. So hopefully they have big plans for Ryder.
I agree with that.
They could do a Ziggler heel turn and then do babyface versus heel Ziggler, kind of like a flip-flop of their U.S. title feud.
Right.
I would be so down for that.
Dude, I don't know.
I mean, just in the sense of Ziggler needs to be heel because he's not doing anything as a face. As far as
fresh.
As fresh as he can be, anyways. He's already been there and done that. But we just don't know what they have planned for Ryder. So throwing out there that Ziggler heel turn could happen at least makes sense and would be cool because everyone knows Ziggler needs to be heel to really do good work anymore.
Yeah, I would agree with that too.
So my next surprise, because I could have swore that AJ was going to win, but Chris Jericho beat AJ Styles, and I thought that was a weird booking choice, but also okay, keep it 2-2 and make it even. But to me, WrestleMania is supposed to pay off. Like, just give AJ the win and let that be your big reset on the whatever else. The match itself was great. I really love the spot where Jericho went for the triangle drop kick, but they swapped places, and then AJ caught like a triangle Pele kick. That was my favorite spot of the whole match. Yeah, I really liked the match. I just think the wrong guy went over. But I'm not going to complain if I have to see AJ Styles versus Chris Jericho again. Daniel, what'd you think, man?
I thought the match was really good. My 1-year-old is now like walking and is mobile. and we're still trying to baby-proof the living room. So right about the time the 450, the springboard 450 happened off the top, my son just turned off the Xbox. And if you have an Xbox One, it takes a while to reboot. And then if you start the WrestleMania feed, there's like the PG thing, and then there's a fucking commercial or whatever. So it like started me up with like that chick from E talking about the next match, and I missed the entire like second half of the fucking match. So it was like the one time that like I had internal rage for my 1-year-old son. It's the first time this has actually happened. I obviously did my very best to not take it out on him in a physical way or like in a verbal way, but internally I was feeling very deep rage. So yeah, I missed half the fucking match, but what I saw was really good.
Yeah, you missed a cool code breaker spot. The forearm in the code breaker was pretty cool.
Finish?
But yeah, it was. Yeah, the finish.
Wait, so that wasn't a
Oh, well,
botch?
no, that wasn't a botch. That was forearm in the code breaker.
It just looked kind of like a forearm into all of AJ's body landed on Jericho's knees, breaking.
Nah, it was definitely I mean, that was definitely supposed to be the spot. I thought it was weird that the ref was over, like, talking, like, messing with Jericho, and then they had Jericho push the ref away. I felt like it was an unnecessary aspect of the entire spot.
Same.
I haven't seen it since then, but to me, I feel like that there was a botch at the end there of some degree because they never showed a replay of the finish. Never.
Speaking of botches,
And that's
I guess in the lightest use of the word, I'm like, there's something with Jericho and not being able to handle that springboard backflip DDT Jericho does.
Yes, I said
Because
that.
Kofi did it perfectly when they had that
Perfectly.
one-on-one match. But
Yeah.
Jericho has had like 2 or 3 chances and he fucks it up every time. He
Yeah.
just never goes backwards.
that like moonsault into whatever, like it's like an inverted DDT
It's an
kind of
inverted
thing.
DDT, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he always catches it wrong, and like every time. But yeah, Kofi did it perfect. I didn't, and I was just watching that. So like the code break to me when it happened looked cool. I really wasn't like looking super close. Like I called it. I was like, oh, AJ's taking too long. Jericho's gonna counter in a code break finish, and sure enough, like it happened. So
He
like,
did it.
I mean, I knew it was coming.
He had a clean out of nowhere code breaker reversal on something earlier in the match too that was really badass.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. I don't remember what it was that he did,
Same
but I
here.
do
I don't
remember
remember what move it was.
Same year.
So everybody knows he got at least one clean code breaker, but hell if we can remember what the fuck it came from.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't remember where it came from either. I can't remember.
Dalton, what did you think of the match, though, overall? I mean, I thought it was a pretty solid show.
Yeah, the match was great. It was my favorite match from the series so far, barring the finish, because I think AJ should have went over too. But yeah, I mean, I thought both of them looked really good. Probably the best. It comes with the chemistry and or AJ getting more experience with the style and whatnot. I thought it was funny that Jericho had goat on the back of his trunks. Yeah, I mean they kind of recycle some of the same spots, but I mean when you wrestle 4 times in like 2 months or however long it's been, it's kind of to be expected. Definitely their best work, I think. I think AJ should have went over. I don't really know why he didn't. A lot of the pessimists out there are gonna be like, oh, Vince doesn't want a outside guy winning big at Mania or this or that or whatever. I don't know. I don't buy it, but I still think it's kind of weird that they didn't have him go over, especially because I think Jericho's booking it for the most part.
Yeah.
I think so too.
I don't
Dan,
know.
what'd you think, man? Daniel,
You.
what did you?
Oh yeah, no, I missed half the match. Remember? That's
No,
why.
I think it's Nixon now.
Oh, I mean.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Oh, whatever. Nixon, go ahead.
I enjoyed the entire match. I didn't expect the ending. It's the classic. Okay, where are you taking us from here with that finish? I was pretty intrigued at Jericho at the end of that match because he legitimately looked like he was crying at one point. Maybe that's just him being a goat heel. But I mean, I definitely think he hurt his wrist in the match at some point. It looked like, unless he was just being a goat seller. He kept on holding his wrist even at rest points in the match. He was still like favoring his wrist. So, and that right at the finish, him being sad, like me as a super Jericho mark and someone that knows how just from even reading his books, like how much his matches and the quality of the match means to him. Like I was like, man, I wonder if he's that upset because that finish was sloppy. But you might have seen a better angle of that finish to me because you said that you're not the only person I've heard either say that you really liked that spot at the end of the match. So to me at the time, I just thought that looked like a botch after an otherwise pretty flawless match, with the exception of the DDT that always goes awry in their matches. But yeah, I mean, I thought this was the best of the three so far, and if we get 4 or 5 of it out of it, awesome. At one point, I did, and I think I said this on Facebook. I legitimately I was on a podcast at the time and told those guys, like on the podcast, I was like, man, can you guys just imagine if WWE swerved us and we don't get it is Bullet Club that we get, not Balor Club. Like they come out and help AJ here, which would have just been a heel move and wouldn't have made sense at all. But there were some legitimate moments in that match where I just got lost in the moment. I was like, dude, how is this gonna finish? Because there were a lot of Walls of Jerichos. There were a couple code breakers. There was a Styles Clash that he kicked out of. Styles used basically every finish that he ever used in New Japan in that match, and Jericho kicked out. So I did not see the Jericho win coming. But I was, again, okay with this. And, yeah, I mean, it was one of the better matches on the card, I thought.
It was definitely one of the better matches. But now we're going to get to the highlight show. Can we talk about the New Day coming out with Saiyan armor on?
Yeah, it's pretty badass.
I thought it was one of the best WrestleMania entrances I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean,
agree.
just based on like your creativity with the gimmick and everything, like did they just bring in the Bootios to like upsell the entrance so then it could happen, or did it come after they introduced the Bootios for no reason? I just kind of want to know.
It doesn't matter. Either way, it was amazing.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
Does it? Man, the entrance was phenomenal, and when they came out in Saiyan armor, like me and my brother just started freaking out, just like little kids who just have no reason to care anymore. So it was great. I think it's terrible that the League of Nations went over, but League of Nations going over in a 4-on-3 situation, I can live with because at least Day was outnumbered. But you know what? Like, guys, it is a 4-on-3 match, and then it turns out it's like on their site it's labeled as a 6-man tag match, and that's why Barrett was on the ground the whole time.
That's what when it was like everyone was saying 4-on-3, and then I noticed the whole time that Barrett was walking around the ring, and I was like, there's no way he's a part of this match.
Yeah, no, it was totally a 6-man tag, but it was advertised the whole time as 4-on-3. Like,
yeah,
so
it was also advertised.
I take it back.
Dude, yeah.
So I take it back. It's horrible. I hate that the New Day lost because now it isn't even 4-on-3. It was 6-man tag with outside interference, which I guess kind of saves it. But like, man, like the Saiyans don't lose, don't you know? Saiyans blow up planets. We don't serve your kind here. Like, but overall, the match was fun. I mean, Nixon, what do you think, man? Like from entrance to Bullhammer Broke.
Dude, the entrance was GOAT entrance. Let's keep that going. I'm gonna try to say GOAT something every match. I don't know if you guys have seen online, but you should definitely check out the ingredients on that cereal box. Somebody posted a picture of it. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I saw that earlier.
it's like 100% happiness, 100% like was it 0% everything except for
0% negativity.
yeah, and then 100% fiber and 100% something else. It was perfect. Yeah, I mean, I said this on Facebook earlier, man. I mean, the New Day would have went over here if they hadn't turned them face. It was, I mean, look, they brought out 3 guys after the match. It was obvious that originally was planned for the 3 of the New Day, and then I think, somewhere along the lines they realized, wow, this League of Nations thing really isn't working for us the way we hoped it would. Let's put them in a program with New Day and turn New Day face, and then they kind of just flew by the seat of their pants from there. Um, it's a shame, really, that none of us loved the match for as far as in terms of wrestling quality, and none of us really buy into League of Nations and what they're all about. Because I mean, I feel like League of Nations are 3 of the best heels in wrestling, and then Sheamus. So it's sad to see that none of us really give a damn about them, but. That's just me being a mark for Barrett Rusev, and being a fan of Del Rio since he left and started wrestling elsewhere and then came back. So yeah, I mean, it was awesome. Anytime I get Ezekiel, holy shit, man, it's 6 hours of wrestling. Anytime I get the Big E and the New Day on my television, it's a treat. So.
I thought Big E was gonna die.
Xavier.
Like, they didn't even.
Holy shit! What's wrong
They
with
didn't
me?
even try to catch him. That spear spot, they didn't even try to catch Big E. Like, I thought he was gonna die.
Oh yeah. Can we just talk about though how like he'll never be a champion, but I think we all agree that Woods here is for sure like probably top 3 best things in all of wrestling right now, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
So I mean, and I've enjoyed him since his days as Consequences even. I mean, but whoever thought that a guy that, TNA wasn't using properly would go on to do great things in his career? I mean, whoever thought that, right, guys?
Yeah, God, who would ever have thought that Okada would do anything good in Japan? So, but yeah, man. Daniel, would you match in subsequent Legends moment?
I mean, the Legends moment was great to me. I did think that, like, it was weird because when I saw HBK come out at first, I was like, oh, this is awesome. And I'm, like, kind of getting into the moment. And then I was like, I've been watching a lot of 1997, like, Raws and, like, Nitros lately. And that was, like, drug-fueled Shawn Michaels, like, when he was, like, fucked up all the time, And he's got, like, this look. Like, I don't know. I'm such an HBK nerd that I've watched, like, everything he's ever done. It's, like, you can tell when he's, like, a little not sober. And I was like... And he came out, he didn't do his, like, normal, like, God thing. He did the old school HBK thing. And I was like, you could just tell in his eyes. I was like, he's a little lit. Like, there's something going on there. And then Mick came out, and he's, like, a little bit more foamy than normal. And I was like, damn it. They've been drinking with Steve before they ever got to this spot. And now they're all half lit. And, like, I'm 100% certain that that's actually what happened.
Did you see the little spot where when Stone Cold handed Shawn a beer and Shawn went like he made this face? He looked like a kid in a candy store. Like it was hilarious.
Yeah, it was
hilarious.
And then he drank two more.
So, yeah, totally did. It's like Shawn, you're supposed to be a recovering addict. Don't do it. Don't drink the beer.
I'm sure he's fine.
Dalton, what'd you think?
Overall, the match portion of the whole segment was whatever. I missed them talking about how it wasn't for the titles as well, although I should have inferred it since it was advertised as 4-on-3 for a while. I'm glad it wasn't for the titles. New Day I don't know if they really. I don't think New Day loses any like steam from not going over, but I don't think the League of Nations gains anything. I think that's the worst part about it, because it like Nixon said, there's 3 of the top heels and then Sheamus. or 3 top possible heels, anyways.
Yes.
And they're all like being, they're just shoved into this one group that no one wants to see, really. I mean, if I'm being blunt and whatever.
Yeah, totally.
No one cares when they come out. They do the stupid like hold the hands and then like bowing thing, and it gets awkward. It's just there's nothing like good about them. There's only like one heel now, and they get buried too, but we'll get there later. Um, as far as the legends coming out, Steve. Everyone always wants Steve to do one more match, and I think Steve, for what it's worth, because obviously Mick looks the worst because of all the shit he did, but Steve, granted, like in comparison, probably looked the worst out of all of them.
Dude,
Just
but
one-
he's been gone. He's been gone the longest too. Out of all. He definitely.
Yeah, but dude,
he's definitely put on some weight since his last appearance. For sure.
Yeah. Well, I don't even think he looked that big last year. Was that last year when
No, he like 100%. You're not the only one that noticed that when he came out
Yeah?
tonight. I was like, damn, Austin. Look
Was
at
that
you."
last year when Hogan, and Rock did it, or was that 2 years ago?
Last year, right?
No, I was at 30 and no, I was 30 in New Orleans. All
Yeah, I
three
was
Americans
30
touched he did the Silverdome spot.
Right, instead of the Superdome. Right.
Yeah, totally did.
Yeah.
But I mean, Austin's been out of the game longer than the other two. Like Sean, like it's been 6 years. Like this WrestleMania made 6 years since Sean. Holy shit! Like it's been 6 years already.
Yeah,
But, I mean,
speaking of
Yeah,
Sean,
dude, that guy.
he looked
dude,
damn
for
good.
real though. For real
He
though.
should
Just a
still
little,
wrestle.
dude, just a little bit more markdom from me for HBK. That dude looked like he could go again another 5 years. Like he definitely looked the best out of the three of them, and he came out in gear too. And I was like, what the fuck is going on?
They should
I
just
thought
give
so
us
hard.
another Taker Sean match.
Dude, just every year. Just
Yeah,
every
I-
year until it gets bad. Let's just
Yeah.
do that every year until it gets bad. Just give them both one match a year. Just do it like 6 more times because it'll be great every fucking time.
Just like
'cause
one of-
they're smart enough to know, like, even when they can't even walk, they'd figure out how to have a good match and we'd all pop for it.
Just like a different gimmick match every year.
Yeah.
Dig it. I could deal with that totally. But I mean, I agree that Sean looked the best out of the three. And I thought it was kind of funny how everyone danced except for Steve, and then just laid him out with a stunner. I thought that was
Oh, he danced
was
for
great.
a few seconds.
for like yeah, but I mean like
Let's talk about Rusev and Xavier selling those stunners. Those
Yes,
are some
Rusev
great
was
sells.
amazing.
yeah,
Rusev was just
the Scott Hall bump.
a little bit less than The Rock at selling the stunner.
It was the
I
Scott
agree.
Hall
It was a
bump.
really good sell. It was a really good sell.
Wait, I wonder.
And,
I was definitely trying to. I was like, I wonder what Austin's down there yelling at Wade after he gave him the stunner, because he walks off and then he came back over there, and so he was saying something like, it's just one of those moments where I'm like, man, I wonder what he's saying to Bear right now.
Yeah.
Hang on just a
Don't you dare
little
move
longer,
until we're
man.
done,
Your
boy.
time's coming. Your time's coming, man. They're finally gonna give you the ball. I wish.
Yeah, Barrett is penally honest, and yeah, but
Well,
that
in
is a
like six-
whole
in like-
conversation.
In like 6 years when they're both out of the company, they'll probably put out a shoot video and we'll see it on YouTube and we'll find out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Really.
that's. I mean, that's a whole topic of just how criminally underutilized talent is. We could do a whole night on that, but I got work in the morning, so we ain't doing that right now.
Heard that.
Brock Lesnar beat Dean Ambrose next, and I'm cool with Brock going over. I thought Ambrose looked great throughout this. The only thing that disappointed me was that it only took one F5. Like, the fact that it only 5 kind of annoyed me, considering it's taken like 2 or 3 to beat everybody else.
Yeah, I thought the exact same
That
thing.
mattered.
After the fact, though, it took me a minute to really think about it. But like, they built
Well, like,
the F5.
he hit him with chairs, so.
Well, yeah, but like they built the F5. Like the whole build was like, the whole build was Dean talking about how the F5 couldn't keep him down. It's like, you can't break me, you can't keep me down, or whatever Dean said. And then one F5, granted on chairs.
This is my fight song. That's
Oh,
what he said.
Jesus Christ.
With one F5, granted it was on chairs, and he was down for the count. I don't know. I feel like they should have at least given him one to kick out of, and then did the second one on chairs, and then he could have stayed down or whatever.
Or do it immediately, like F5 him and then F5 him on the chairs, or F5 him on the chairs twice. Let it take two. That's just me nitpicking though. The match was fun. You knew that they weren't going to use the chainsaw, and thank God for that. Nobody needs to die. This isn't CZW, so
I feel like they could have at least used that bat though, with the barbed wire. Like he
yeah,
licked the damn thing. You know he could have at least hit him in the stomach or something.
or let Ambrose take the hit. Like let Lesnar catch it, and then
Yeah.
and then Ambrose take the hit. I thought the same thing.
You know they couldn't do too much though because they had to save a lot of the gruesome stuff for Taker and Shane, just to not like get everyone dead on the cheap like weaponry.
Yeah, I suppose so. Oh, it was fun. I don't know. What do you think was it overall? I mean, overall, it was a good match.
Oh, is it still on me?
Yeah, like just overall, did you enjoy
Oh yeah,
it? I mean,
yeah, match. Yeah, it was fine. I was underwhelmed. I don't know. I don't think I expected a whole lot because Lesnar just does suplexes, and Dean's not the most offensively gifted guy either. And when you have to, like, if this match happened and just hypothetically, and I'm not a fan of the product itself, but like, you have this match with, Dean Ambrose being the weapon master he is in his past, and a monster like Lesnar. If it happens anywhere else that's not PG, it's probably like just some blood. It just gives it a little bit of character. But with the way that Dean lost with one F5, and then they didn't really use any weapons besides a kendo stick and a chair, it was just kind of underwhelming.
yeah, I could agree. Nixon, what do you think?
I mean, the entire build 100% was this is going to be a gruesome match. The sadistic side of Dean's really going to come out in this. And the entire time I was like, dude, Brock doesn't have to take this kind of punishment in a match. He's got anything he wants from this company, getting paid more than anyone else on the roster. He's not going to go out there and take a barbed wire bat. He's not going to go out there and have a thumbtack spot. He's not going to go out there and, get beyond chair shots to the back. That's not going to happen in a Lesnar match. So I didn't get caught up in all that selling. I thought it was kind of silly that they sold the match as, that's what we were going to get, because we basically got what I expected. Although I did expect them to be stupid and put Dean over. Dean doesn't need the rub from a Brock win. A Brock win could be much better suited for a number of other guys on the card or on the roster that that could benefit for something like that. Dean's over regardless. It's a success to me simply because we didn't get the fucking rebound clothesline in this match. So I mean it was I'll give it 20 stars because of that alone. I see what you guys are saying about the multiple F5s would have been nice. I thought it was a nice touch, him just screaming die and then doing that F5 on the pile of chairs. I thought that was pretty cool. I also liked the psychology-wise that they paid attention to the fact that when, and I guess it was a planned spot, but when he did that German suplex and Brock landed on the chairs instead of Dean when he was the one doing the suplex. At first Cole fucked up and was like, "Oh, but Dean went on the chairs," and you're like, "No, clearly Lesnar landed on the chairs there." But Lesnar sold that, so I thought that was cool because I thought that might have been a fuck up. But later with the finish, I was like, "Okay, so that was on purpose." But yeah, I mean, I was okay with this match as well. I probably would have been upset actually if they used this entire time to build Brock as unstoppable and then had Ambrose beat him in a match that didn't see Lesnar bleeding profusely.
Title?
What's that? Or the title, yeah.
Yeah, or a title. Yeah.
Yeah.
Daniel, what do you think, bud?
I I thought that I mean the match itself was good, but I mean I actually thought that throughout TV like it's kind of been like this has been the main storyline that they've pushed that I've like seen, and it's like I don't know, I just felt like it didn't really get as much time as I expected. I felt like the match itself wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. It wasn't just a finish. I felt like in this match it was just kind of like I think we were expecting a lot, but it was like I mean Dalton kind of said it earlier. It's like you don't. I mean Dean doesn't really have that much offense, and it's like unless you're like an already established main event guy, Suplex City isn't really going to work for either guy. Like this ended up looking like a squash match, and to me that's kind of what it ended up looking like. I thought this match. I mean, I'm glad that Lesnar went over because I thought that I agree that Dean Ambrose didn't need the rub. Like it should have been Lesnar that went over. But I also thought that the match itself was going to be a little bit more brutal and a little bit more to Ambrose's strengths, a little bit more of shine from him, and the match itself would like put him over. But I don't think it was. I mean, it was a C plus to me, like
Yeah,
maybe a B minus.
to piggyback that, talk about how the match itself will put Ambrose over. Everyone the whole time was like, Ambrose doesn't need to go over. You could just pull like a Austin and Hart from 13 thing, and he can lose and still come out on top. But, like that did not happen at all. Not that he really loses anything by losing, but he definitely didn't like skyrocket into the next level of superstardom from this match either.
No, definitely not. I mean, and I think that if it would have been given a little more time and a little bit more, a couple more false finishes from Ambrose, it probably could have given him that I'm not gonna die, kind of like, hey, Ambrose is on the incline even though he lost. I just kind of think that both guys stayed in it, where neither lost and neither gained through this. But I mean, everybody's points was pretty much on. Lesnar doesn't have to take a crazy CZW style match. I mean, the dude's getting paid ridiculous amount of money to play it safe with the E anyway. Ambrose isn't going to be the guy to beat Lesnar. It's probably going to be Reigns. Like when Lesnar's on his way out, Reigns is going to slay the beast, and yay, everybody's happy.
Yeah,
Woohoo.
SummerSlam.
So, maybe.
Oh, I had a thought. I lost it.
Well, how dare you?
Brock. He's probably disappearing now until like SummerSlam to build up to it, anyways. I don't know. He definitely needs to. I don't know what they do with Dean though, and I'm a big Dean mark right now. I don't really know what they do with Dean at the moment. I don't know where he fits in, to be quite honest.
Lesnar's got to go, or I mean, Reigns has got to go heel, man. He's got to go heel.
You're right. I guess that would make sense for Dean. How does he go heel without putting someone else as the face before him? Like, does he go heel on Ambrose?
That would be the way to do it.
Yeah,
the only way.
I mean,
that's what I mean. That's exactly
True.
right.
I guess that's the only way to do it now. They could have been a few ways to do it tonight, but
Yeah.
they decided not to.
Which is we'll get there.
Yeah.
we're slowly working our way there. We are slowly getting there. I'm looking at how long we've been on this show and how much more of this card we've gotten, and I realized how long this card was.
Far too long.
So the triple threat, yeah, it was a massive show, man. A lot of content. Charlotte versus Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks. This is another match where I thought the wrong person went over. But I like how she went over. It wasn't clean. Sasha didn't lose anything. Technically would have made a breakup if Rick wouldn't have been holding her legs. So I like that it kind of saved Sasha in that regard. I like the match. The match was cool. I thought the double natural selection spot was pretty sweet. And Sasha almost dying on that suicide dive / flip on the Charlotte.
Yeah.
Pretty sweet spot too. That was brutal.
I blinked,
But,
and I was like, I don't know if she meant to do that or if that was an accident.
I had to watch the replay. I watched the replay. Yeah, I had to watch the replay and go, okay, did her feet hit the ropes and cause her to flip, or did she flip after she cleared the ropes on purpose? But it was that wicked of a spot, and that close to being a disaster because it looked like Charlotte barely caught her. But the match itself was great. This is like my match of the night. Like if I had to give a match of the night, this was a great wrestling match. For a triple threat, it was a great wrestling match as well. We all know triple threats can either be really good or really bad really quick. And I thought this was a really well done triple threat. I think these girls pretty much stole that new women's title is pretty cool, I have to say. But I mean, props to the women tonight. This was a great match. What'd you think, man?
I thought the match was awesome. I thought it was the best match of the night, without a doubt. Um, to note on the title, I'm really glad that like they made the title, like they based the design straight off the men's title, and they didn't like make it some kind of like lesser design. It was just different color scheme, obviously, but like it gives it it gives the title the same importance as the men's title right off the bat. The fact that
And
this
it's
was the
slightly smaller.
I didn't notice, but yeah, I guess that makes sense as well, just based on body types. But
Yeah.
I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, the fact that this was the first match for the title just gives it so much credibility right off the bat. Um, the moonsault for Charlotte was fucking beautiful. It was my favorite spot of the match. One of the best moonsault spots to the outside of the ring that I've ever seen. The finish
That's
was
including Neville.
yeah. The finish was good, I guess. If you're gonna have Charlotte win, might as well have her win dirty. I wanted Sasha to win. The sad part is she's probably gonna win within the next few months, I would imagine. I don't think they would keep the belt on Charlotte that much longer. Uh, how long was that Nikki reign? That was like 300 days, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Something
Oh, I guess
like
it's a
that,
new
yeah.
belt. It's a new belt though, so I don't know if they're counting it or not. But um, I thought the best worker of the match was probably Becky. Um, I felt like she was in a lot of the action. I felt like Sasha was a part of a lot of the breaks. And I don't know the point in taking out Rick if he's going to come back and be the reason that Charlotte wins. I felt like that was kind of I don't know, wishy-washy there. But yeah, it was a good match, great match. The finish wasn't to my favor, but it's not going to take away from it in the grand scheme of things, really.
Yeah, it was. I Ric Flair point. About Damon and I called it on Friday. We were like, Rick is taking a bump at Mania. He will bump, and he did. We were correct, good sir. What did you think of the match, Daniel?
Pretty much the exact same thing. I thought it was a great match. I thought it was match of the night. I think this is a great way to start off the new women's title. Everything I agreed with, pretty much the design. I like that it's very similar to the men's title. That makes it seem very legitimate. I mean, overall, I mean, again, I feel the exact same way. I really would have liked Sasha to win, but if Charlotte's gonna win, I like that she won dirty. So yeah, pretty much the same thing.
Okay. Nixon, how about you, buddy?
I thought the match was awesome. I expected Sasha to win. Not Charlotte's great. There are things that she's improved a lot on the mic. That was like my biggest qualm with her. So I'm okay that she kept the title because I think that she is, definitely. I think Sasha's the best heel out of the women's wrestlers, but Charlotte's in the best position obviously now as the working heel to continue her momentum, and she gets a good rub in the traditional heel sense from being the one that can flaunt the new women's, the first ever women's champion, even though they're for some reason completely disregarding the fact that they already had that before in the past, but that's neither here nor there. So yeah, I mean, I'm okay with her keeping the title. I thought the match was pretty damn awesome. To me, I will say, like, I'm a big fan of where the women's division is going, but I feel like a lot of us are quick to jump the shark and call any great women's match of the night just because it is a women's match. That's just my opinion of the minority here, but I mean, this match definitely had a couple spots that didn't go as planned. That said, I guess what matches didn't tonight, I don't know that I'd be so quick to name a match of the night, other than when you do consider the fact that it is hard to pull off a flawless triple threat match, and they did a pretty spectacular job at it.
Yeah,
But yeah, two
for
thumbs
sure.
way up regardless.
Yeah, the only thing missing was Bailey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Probably not for long.
no, not for long at all. She's coming soon if I had to guess. Taker and Shane was next, and this match was just as insane as we all thought it was going to be. I hear that the cell is 27 feet tall, and Shane kind of fell through it. Like just straight off
Dove
that.
off
Son.
it, yeah.
Not pushed off, nothing. Like, he willingly went, I'm gonna jump off that, and he jumped off of it. Like, I enjoyed this match just as much as I thought I would. Just Taker winning, I'm totally cool with. And just entertaining start to finish. How about Shane putting on an actual triangle, like a legit triangle, and like Taker started like snotting and all that crap because Shane was legit pulling. Like, holy shit, like shooting and all. Like, this is pretty rough. I thought it was pretty cool. Daniel, what do you think about the match, bud?
Oh, I mean the match was fantastic. I mean, I called it. I've been saying this for like a month though. You know, everyone's talking about like, oh, Shane's gonna do this or whatever. Shane's gonna take over, and it's like, man, there's no chance. There's zero probability of Shane winning this match. Like, I just knew, like, dude, you can't. There's no way that you lose to Lesnar. That's your only loss at Mania, and then you lose 2 years later to Shane McMahon. That does not happen. It's not gonna happen. There's no way. Like, so that being said, the bump was super sick. Not only was the bump sick alone by itself, and I'm not saying this to take anything away from the bump, but the planning that they did for that table, like if you watch it from the angle where Taker was like rolled out of the way from, you can see that there was like an air mattress, and as soon as he hit it, they let it down like remotely all the way. As soon as he hit it, like you could see it go a little bit slower than like he like go back and watch the replay. But that's awesome. Like to me, it's like that's really cool that they set up like this stunt like area for him, you know, like I thought it was awesome. I mean, the match was top notch. I mean, I got some dad feels when he brought out his kids. It was pretty cool, so I enjoyed it.
Well, it's like they did the same thing. They had I guess it was more boxes back then, but like they had like the box padding whenever he did the coast to coast on Kane in that ambulance match, if I remember right. They still had it then too. So, Dalton, what'd you think, bud? Yes, no, disappointed?
Yeah, no. The match was about as good as I could have expected it to be, really. Shane's like striking on TV leading up to this was kind of suspect, but it looked better tonight than it had in all the Raws previous.
I agree.
Going out of the cell and everything, obviously it was like ramping up there. I was like keeping track of the time. I don't remember who was talking. Might have been Daniel who was talking about how it was going to go like 12 minutes. I couldn't remember though.
Yeah.
They like went out of the cell and like they hadn't even done the spot yet. It was like 17. They went through the first table and then Shane was like looking up at the cell and I was like, oh shit. And like you just knew it was going to happen then. And with the way Taker was laying on the very edge the entire time, you knew it wasn't going to go through. And after it happened, the way Taker was laying on the floor looking at Shane, I was like, is he gonna lay down for him? Like, I
Yeah.
really wanted Shane to
It
win.
looked like he felt bad for him.
I really, really, really wanted Shane to win.
Yeah.
And just the way Taker was looking at him, like, holy shit, he really wants this. Maybe Taker wants to screw over Vince for putting him in the match in the first place. You know, this, that, whatever. I was like, maybe he's gonna lay down for him. And then as soon as Shane, they got back in the ring and Shane went, I was like, oh, that's done for. He's gonna tombstone his ass.
And that's what.
Yeah, it was a great match. Hopefully they do the brand split. I would be down for that with Shane getting SmackDown, obviously. I don't know. Do you guys think he'll be on Raw tomorrow? Granted, he got stretchered out and all that.
I think
No.
if they do the brand split, he will. But even if they do the brand split, I don't think that he's like full-time back. I think he would appoint someone tomorrow night to run SmackDown for him, story-wise. I don't think Shane McMahon is involved at all after this Mania weekend. But just because it's in Dallas, I think, okay, maybe they'll bring him out on Raw, do a little swerve, and appoint like a GM, and have him take over the storyline from there.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Or her,
because he
whoever.
hasn't been advertised, and he's not back in a corporate sense at all. He's only back from like a performer standpoint, from everything that I've heard.
Yeah.
I was really hoping that like Taker would have done like the lay too, just like the pity lay. Like I totally could have seen that happening. But yeah, the match was fantastic. You know, what do you think, man?
I mean, I think for me it was about nostalgia. I mean, I guess that's not exactly fair since Dalton didn't live through that era that we did. Well, it was more specifically Schaefer and I, because you guys are young asses. But
Hey, I was watching wrestling for all that. Don't you judge me.
I feel like the match was kind of laughable in a lot of parts. That said, the big spots were worth it. You know, we got our money's worth, so to speak, out of that alone. I loved, you know, it felt like, all right, this is Shane during his heyday when he got climbed up there. You're like, hell yeah, this, you know, dude. I mean, the hops that dude has, for real. Like doing the Van Shannonators from one side of the ring to the other, like that's crazy.
Van
dog.
Terminator, yeah.
He's still yeah, but it's the Shannonnator, dog. It's not the Terminator, not the Daminator. It's not the Van Daminator. So it's the Van
Goatinator?
The Van Shannonnator.
Goatinator.
Just go with it,
You
guys.
said
Just go with
go.
it.
You said use go.
Huh? Oh yeah, it's
You
the
said
goat.
you
It's the goat.
The Van Goatinator.
Shannonnator of all time. Actually, it was pretty shitty.
Terminator of all time.
It was pretty shitty actually because
I feel like Taker fucked it up.
no, I mean, how can you blame anyone there when you're jumping all the way across the ring? But it definitely landed in his nuts and not like it was supposed to. I mean, still, like the hops that dude has is crazy. But when he went up top, dude, and maybe it's just because we didn't have TVs as big, as awesome HD as they are now when we were kids. But to see like that wide cams like pan of just how
high up
that is, and you're like, holy shit, this guy's been in Japan like doing MMA shit for the last few years, and like being a businessman and being a family man, and he just comes right back in his first match ever. Is like, yeah, it's like he never walked away, you know. So yeah, I mean, it was cool to get caught up in all that, but with how long that all took, we all knew he wasn't going to hit the elbow. So at that point, as the Mark and me started to get upset because I realized that the whole Shane getting control of the company thing wasn't happening, and I was just like, oh, it was WWE Creative Humor, I think is the Twitter account. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about, where they're just like, what was the tweet?
Yep.
I've got to see what this said. Oh man, it was a perfect summation of it. Tonight, Shane McMahon put it all on the line, risked life and limb, and failed miserably. Moral of the story: never try. It's like, really, that whole angle was pointless. You could tell at that point they just didn't have anything at all.
Unless they do the brand split, which that's my only hope for that whole
But
angle.
then even at that point, it's like Vince comes out and acknowledges that SmackDown is the inferior product. If he's like, hey, you can't have Raw, but I'll give you SmackDown, dog.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, that's what we found out on Friday. The only way to do a brand split and have them like straight up legit is if you put SmackDown live on Thursday
Yes,
or even live on
please.
Tuesday. That would be the only way that you can do it. So real quick about the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Two main things to talk about. Baron Corbin winning, and what the hell is up with Shaq being in the Battle Royal just to get thrown over the top rope with Big Show?
Dallas.
I'm totally cool. Like like they weren't like they weren't in LA, they weren't in Miami, they weren't in Orlando, they weren't even in Baton Rouge for LSU. Like I mean they were nowhere. Like they were in Dallas, But not only that, the part that annoyed me the most was as soon as Big Show and Shaq got eliminated, you can see Big Show shaking Shaq's hand and saying "good job" and like patting him on the back on camera. Show, kayfabe, come on, come on,
And
man.
then he vaped.
So, yeah, pretty much, man. Just like, oh my God, like Big Show turned twice in one match. He went heel against Shaq. He was babyface when he walked in. And he turned babyface again when he got eliminated. Jesus Christ, Big Show, you're killing me over here. So, Daniel, what'd you think about the Battle Royal?
I mean, it's a battle royal. I mean, there's not much you can say about spots. I
There
mean,
you go.
especially when you got Tatanka in there. It's like, I mean, what can you
And
say,
DDP.
man? Jesus fucking Christ, man! Like, dude, if you were signed and you're on the main roster and you're not in NXT and you weren't in this battle royal, you should like get your cosmetology license or go into real estate or do something else. So insurance, like. I don't know. I mean, go do some B movies and doing some like terrible zombie roles. I mean, this is not for you, man. Like, it was literally you put Tatanka in the battle royal. Tatanka, really?
He
Like,
wasn't on this
you
card.
couldn't have brought up like Gargano or maybe even another like just random NXT like Tatanka. Like, you think that was gonna get a pop? Like, it's only gonna make all of us like make fun of you, and then the casuals are like, "Who's the old man in the Indian getup that's super racist now?" Like, it's like, what are you doing? Like. Oh my God. But yeah, I mean, Corbin going over is the best possible thing, and to me, that makes this Battle Royal might be a little bit more interesting next year because Corbin won. So hopefully this will lead to something for Corbin on the main roster. Overall, the match was meh. Corbin going over, thumbs up.
Yeah. Nixon, what about you, buddy?
Yeah, I missed. This was bedtime for my chiddens, so I put my kiddos to bed and missed this entire match except for the very end. But I'm with them. I mean, Corbin winning was the best case scenario here that none of us, no one in the world saw before this pay-per-view happened. I mean, no one even called the dude. Who would ever imagined he would have lost to Austin Aries in a match that all of us thought that he was going to throw Aries around the entire match and then get a win, and then would get a call-up and win it his first Mania. Yeah, so I mean, I'm totally down with that. But I mean, battle royals. I mean, it was, I was okay with putting my kids to bed at that point because it was a battle royal, and I wasn't really. I got my hopes up at one point, and then when I realized it was coming on in between the two mains, I was like, okay, so they just put that there as filler. So I was pleasantly surprised when I saw the finish. But I mean, let's not get our hopes up. I mean, this for what this could mean for Corbin, because lest we forget that Cesaro won this a couple years ago, and it did what for him? So I mean, it at least is a starting point for Corbin. There's no way they keep him in NXT, right? He's not going to be that dude that just goes back to NXT and brags to Aries with
He might. I mean, it's something to say.
I mean, they have to.
I want WrestleMania.
They have to finish off. They can't write him off like that. I mean, that's another story. I guess that's where they have planned for Aries.
They'll do what they did with Zayn. I mean, Zayn had his own thing on the main roster and had an NXT storyline. They'll probably have him like trade off for a little while.
Yeah, thumbs up for me for the ending.
Yeah, for sure. Dalton, what'd you think, bud?
Yeah, just another battle royal. I saw a tweet where Tommy Dreamer said he got bumped for Tatanka. Or no, for Shaq, actually. He said he got bumped for Shaq. I don't know if he was joking or if he was being serious. If he was being serious, I think that's hilarious. Um,
Did you see the Bucks tweet?
no, not about the Battle
Uh,
Royal.
It was either Nick or Matt. It was like, since we've been on here. They're like, I can't believe Shaq got booked before me.
um, I'm glad Corbin won it. After the first year, when Cesaro won, isn't that when they tried to pit him with Heyman and that whole experiment kind of failed? But like they wanted to make it serious.
Yes.
They wanted to make it like a serious thing, and it kind of failed. And then last year, the trend could have continued. They could have had fucking Sandow win it when he turned on Miz, and they're like, nope. And that could have like kept him going and rolling, and kept the battle royal with like a good like name going for it. And then letting Corbin win this year kind of brings some prestige back to it, I guess. As far as pushing a younger guy, I'm not really sure that he's gonna do anything serious on the main roster right away. I think it's a good thing for him to have, and even if he just takes it back to NXT and brags about it, whatever, I guess that would be good enough, at least to push him against Aries a little more, since he kind of lost clean for no real reason. The way I feel about Corbin losing to Aries clean at Takeover is the same way I feel about Styles losing to Jericho tonight. Way different circumstances, but the same feeling for me.
Well, there is that. Because they are kind of, I guess they are kind of similar, but at least Aries just won with a roll up. By the way, that counter ended days was sick, just so we're clear.
Yeah.
After that, so The Rock actually wrestled a match and set a record with a 6 match, and then the burial of the Wyatts continued. I see Nixon shaking his head, and
Let's
I think
just
you are
go to
shaking.
Nixon here. I got nothing to say that Nixon won't say.
Yeah, I
agree.
really...
We'll just turn over the floor to Nixon here.
I mean, what is there to say, dude?
Yeah, hold
I
on.
mean,
Let's.
what is there to
Yeah.
say? It's
There's-
like I'm someone that thoroughly enjoys every time The Rock comes back. I'm not one of those fucking smarks on the internet from all the dirt sheets like
Same.
that just shit all over him and they're like, he's not funny. Why do people laugh at his jokes? He is funny. He exudes charisma every time he's on the damn mic. His segment from that Raw like 6 weeks ago, whenever he came back, even though it was pointless as hell, was phenomenal. Every time the guy touches the mic, you know you're going to get something entertaining. But why do this to Bray over and over and over and over again when you fucking said on Stone Cold's podcast and mention him as one of the 3 names of a guy that you have plans to carry your company for the future? It's like, how can you expect anyone to give a shit about it? So many of my friends that are smart wrestling fans that were the biggest Bray Wyatt fans alongside me have already given up on this dude because he comes out and says the same shit every fucking week. Why? Why does he say the same stuff? Because he does a great job at saying it, and you don't take it anywhere from there. Like he's just the classic example of like I try not to get caught up in wins and losses, but like somebody said on the Facebook thing, there's a difference between a loss being burying someone and what they do to Bray Wyatt every fucking time. They bury the dude every show and expect people to give a shit. It's like the only good part about that entire segment was when The Rock said something about how Bray has tons of charisma. It's like, well, what the hell is that going to do for Bray at the end of the day? Cool, you said that about him, but like, and like the whole time, I just like my butthole was clenched so tight, thinking like maybe, just maybe, they are gonna have Bray do
They're going to
something
eviscerate him.
crazy and surprise us here. Like even when Cena came out, I was like, holy shit, the rub this would be if he still got, one over on both of them. But no, and the show like completely went off the rails and downhill at this moment for me. And it sucked because I fucking watched wrestling for 6 hours up until that point, only to see one of the biggest drop balls in the history of wrestling continually dropped by the WWE, and like yet again. And it's like, what do they expect when even the smarks are turning on Bray? Like, what is your plans for this dude? Are you gonna repackage him all of a sudden? And give a guy the perfect gimmick.
Meltzer has been saying that they've been like planning to push him really big after Mania. So to me, this moment for me was like, oh shit, maybe they'll have him like actually work The Rock at like SummerSlam. Maybe
But
like
but even then, Schaefer, like, there's no way that they're gonna give him a win over The Rock. There's no way.
it's
He can't
possible.
even win over Cena. There's no way they're gonna let him win over
Exactly.
Rock.
Dude, and then
Well,
Cena had
not
to
saying
even, the
Cena.
fact that Cena even had to be involved in that, if you're gonna fucking bury him, just bury him to The Rock. You don't even have to bring Cena out again and go through all that bullshit all over again with him. Like,
Yeah, we all know The Rock can bury the three Wyatts by himself
yes.
if they want him to. Like Cena wasn't needed, but they were like, oh, let's bring Cena back,
Yeah.
and
Like,
it
Cena
was
didn't
just
shit all over him enough the first time.
they were just like, let's get the choir of John Cena sucks going. Like,
Oh,
it's just,
dude, as soon as he came out, that chant started again.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they did it at the Hall of Fame. These people don't care.
Oh, I didn't see the Hall of Fame, to be fair. That's
Yeah,
crazy they were doing that there.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a
It's
big.
brutal.
I'm not a supporter of fans being allowed in the Hall of Fame for that reason alone. But that's a different conversation.
Yeah.
I tell you what, though, man. Like, for a minute until Cena came out, I really thought that The Rock was gonna give Bray and Strowman the rub. Like, I expected him to take out Rowan. Rowan is pretty accessible, but I thought that Strowman and Wyatt were gonna get the rub. I know you're shaking your head, but I mean the way they book these guys. I mean,
Oh.
Rowan is the weak
No, he makes
link
sense. I agree
of
with you there.
Wyatt.
No, I'm just saying, like,
But I mean,
what better way to make people not give a shit about Rock having a match at WrestleMania than by throwing Rowan in there? Like, all of a sudden everybody's like, oh, okay, I know what's about to happen here. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
and then,
also it's cool how all of a sudden,
and then Rock Bottom.
yeah, all of a sudden they're keeping up with how long matches last at WrestleMania. Like, there's a record all of a sudden for that. It's like,
You know what's funny is we talk about how like Bray like can't get any like big feud wins or anything. You know, we talk about the Taker Kane thing. Well, he got buried tonight by The Rock, though that wasn't really a feud. You know, got squashed by Cena in his feud. The last feud win Bray had was against Dean, and Dean was in the like technically I would say the most hyped up match for this whole WrestleMania.
Bray won a feud with Dean, but
By
Dean
television.
feud because he Bray's spot against Brock.
Yeah.
Just it's awful, man.
you know, the only
again,
the only good part of that segment was the fact that Luke Harper didn't have to be involved in that.
It's because he's hurt. Towards
Yeah,
ACL.
I
Yeah.
know that. I'm saying
Yeah,
that's
it's 'cause
thank God. Because if the four of them
he's
out
been-
there, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, at least there's hope for Luke yet.
Sam, yeah, we'll leave it at that. But yeah, it's something I've never seen so much potential be so just way left field. Like, good God. But the most entertaining part of the night was Roman Reigns versus Triple H, because I just love the fact that it's booked heel champion versus face challenger, but what I'm hearing and what I'm watching is babyface champion versus heel challenger, and the poor announcers like you know Michael J. whose voice is shot by this point, and Saxton with his "What a Spear" by Roman commentary, just trying so hard to put this guy over as a babyface, and it is just not working. And then they put him over clean, just fairly clean, not like squeaky clean, but I mean it's fairly clean, you know, spear and done. I just, oh my, what do they do? Like, do they turn? Like, are they? I think they're just gonna not turn them, guys. Like, I think this is the Mania where Vince sticks to his guns and he says, "You're gonna take it and you're gonna like it." And we're just gonna get Roman Reigns babyface face of the company, just like we do with Cena, except now it's like legit heat, where like no one likes him. Like Cena, we got tired of over time. Roman Reigns don't want. Like, it's completely different, but I think they're just gonna keep going with it. Like, we're gonna have babyface Roman Reigns for forever. Daniel, what the hell did you think about this main event, man? I thought it was a fun, like a decent match. The crowd really shit on it, and the win was super predictable. What'd you think, man?
I felt like compared to the past couple WrestleMania matches that Roman Reigns has had, this actually wasn't as good, which is surprising because Triple H is always good, and Triple H was good. Like, I actually felt like Roman Reigns, it wasn't just like, because I mean I'm normally a guy that says like, well, Roman Reigns can actually work in the ring, I don't think he should be a babyface. I've said he should be a heel. I think everyone thinks he should be a heel, but I think he can actually work for the most part. But this match, like to me, was just not. I mean, and it was his fault. Like I feel like his spots were sloppy. It just it's almost like either he just felt really nervous and the pressure was getting to him, or it's almost like he's just ready to turn heel. And I feel like he almost feels like he's. I feel like even at this point, Roman Reigns has probably had a conversation with the old man, like, so what if I turned heel? What would he? And Vince was like, no, we're gonna go with this babyface thing. They're gonna love you, kid. They're gonna love you. Like I feel like I feel like he's already kind of been like, just turn me heel, like, and I just feel like it's kind of starting to show. I mean, it's because it's like, dude, you won at WrestleMania, and if you like watch even his like post celebration, it's almost just like he's like being cocky, like, yeah, fuck you, and he's like not even taking in the fact that he just won the title at Mania. He's almost like looking like I don't care about you smarks that are booing me. Like he almost looked heel at the end of the show, even though they were selling him as a babyface. It's weird, man. It's just really weird.
Yeah, definitely one of the weirder Mania that we've seen. Sultan, what about you, man? What'd you think?
I kind of felt like I was watching a match on Raw. I felt like it was a pretty. I guess that comes with the fact that it was such. I think it was a clean finish. I mean, yeah, he had where the ref got pulled out when he was being counted, or when he had the pin on Triple H. But I mean, the final pin was clean, and that's all I'm counting here. And yeah, I mean, the sledgehammer spot, I knew Triple H wasn't going to hit him with it because it doesn't get anyone anywhere in the story. The back of my mind, I knew that Roman was going to win clean, I guess. I didn't want to accept it. I thought there was a number of people that could have come out and done something tonight. But after The Rock had that burial of a segment, I knew that he wasn't going to come out. And from then, I just didn't know what was going to happen because I didn't ever think that like the possible local rival was going to be to back up Triple H. So, yeah, the match was okay. Definitely wasn't anything special. Definitely hated the finish. Hope they're saving the heel turn for tomorrow night. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they book Roman more solid as a face now, like the way they've been doing the past 3 weeks, which they should have been doing the past 2 years. But who knows?
Yeah, no, I agree. I wish we would have seen some more, just any type of continuity or any type of acknowledgement that this is not working. Yeah. Nixon, are you done playing with the draw tool? I saw you drawing in the corner.
Oh man, how did you know I was doing that?
Because I'm the controller, bro. I see what everybody does.
I mean, I thought the finishing sequence was cool. Like, I mean, I thought that was a cool spot with the two fists or the Superman punches and then the spear or whatever order that was in. I did not expect that to be a clean win there. I mean, I just expected some big finish there. I mean, after months and months of them obviously hearing every night, even The Rock acknowledging it on his Instagram about how he wasn't getting the babyface pops and he was getting treated as a heel, to see them at Mania crown him in a clean finish. I just wasn't expecting that. So honestly, that was a huge shock to me. It's probably one of the bigger shocks of the night to me. I just didn't expect him to go over clean. I mean, it's kind of like a Corbin thing for me. It's like, I didn't like Reigns at first, and then it's like, all right, this guy's trying. He's improved. Although I will say that the way they handled Corbin in NXT is the exact way they should have handled Reigns since he's been in the WWE. But I'm not going to bitch about it not being my guy. It was hard for anything to have happened in this match and me not to have the sour taste from the Bray Wyatt spot removed from my mouth. Like that just ruined the entire show at that point. And I went into this match expecting Reigns to win, not in the manner that he did, but expecting him to win, and it's what happened. It's just, it is wild to me that this is known as the send the fans home happy pay-per-view, and we got the finishes all night that we got.
Yeah.
Really a mind-boggling, like, payoff big pay-per-view. Just kind of, it doesn't feel like it's the end of it. It still feels like the end of this WrestleMania is still just like the middle of a lot of stories.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Felt like a SummerSlam.
Yeah, like that middle. There's still conclusions that need to be hashed out. Like, and for Payback to be the big payoff for some of them is just really mind-boggling. Like,
Yeah.
they're not going to do 100,000 to Payback. That's for damn sure. Like, just
I agree.
doesn't make sense. Just a really, really confusing end to a really confusing WrestleMania. But that's it, guys. Like, I mean, Raw tomorrow, and hopefully we'll see some surprising debuts. We'll see some, hopefully, maybe, some new feuds starting, hopefully. So,
Anyone think Orton's coming back tomorrow?
what happens, guys?
Yeah,
What was
I
that?
don't have any.
Anyone think
mean-
Orton's coming back tomorrow? I kind of like come out during the, someone said on Facebook, I thought he'd come out during the Rock segment with Cena, but that didn't happen. So he's just kind of off doing nothing right now.
Who?
Orton.
Oh, is he supposed to be?
I don't know if he's.
I don't think he's hurt.
I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about Orton.
I don't know. I mean, people that we could see come up tomorrow, Joe, Finn, Bailey, Anderson, Gallows. Will not come up for those two, but you get my point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really know after that. I thought we'd see at least like one of them do something tonight, but wasn't the case.
People on the interwebs.
Nah, man.
People on the interwebs are
I'm
saying
super
this
glad.
was probably Triple H's last match.
And what a shame. Like, what a shame that it's got to be this
Yeah,
gut
really.
match.
No
Yeah,
chance, dude. No chance. That's his
I
last
don't buy it either. I
No
still feel like he's
chance.
doing something else. I don't think he, like, with his ego, I don't think he can let himself have his last match be the match where they willingly said "fuck you" to all the fans and just gave him
Nah,
a
he's
clean
gonna
win
put
and
it,
throw
dude.
him
His last match will be to put over some big NXT name.
I hope so.
I mean,
What, you mean like tonight?
That's his brainchild. I mean, that's what he's gonna
You mean
do.
like Reigns?
There's no way it's
in.
gonna
He
be
wasn't
his
a
last
big
match.
NXT guy though. He was like NXT for like a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
but
know what I mean, though. Like, he might put over, like, if this match was, like, maybe next year against Finn, it's like, okay, he puts over Finn, like,
I
that
hope
makes
not.
Rollins,
I
he
could
still
deal
has to fight Rollins. There's no chance
Yeah.
he doesn't fight
Rollins.
Rollins.
Yeah, puts over Rollins. That's it. I'd be totally stoked with that.
They gotta
Yeah,
do that
I
in
mean,
SummerSlam.
this isn't his last match. It might be his last like main event ever, but it's not his last match. I think he's gonna put somebody like Rollins or Finn or even Corbin, like somebody big that like he's protected and like he's groomed in NXT. Like he's gonna put one of them over, and that's gonna be the end. But probably not for another couple of years. But it's 1 a.m. and I've got to be at work for 7, so we're gonna
True
get
that.
that on that note. So
Dude, I gotta get up at 5:30.
that's it. I feel for you. I
Back to
feel
the
for
real
you.
world, fellas.
Yeah, back to the real world because I've been in Texas for a week and actually not in the office. So it's time to go to work like a normal person now. So, guys, that's going to do it, man. That was WrestleMania in a nutshell. As always, I'm Matt. That's Dan. We're Mouth of the Mark. We got Kenneth Nixon and we've got Dalton. And I totally forgot your last name. But you know what? That's okay because I am not professional. We do this for the normal people. So that's going to do it for us, guys. See you later. And y'all have fun. We'll see y'all next week. Daniel, hit them with it.
Peace.
Hey, dudes.